Good afternoon from Cressing Road. This is BBC Essex live coverage of the National League game between Braintree Town and Boston United. My name is Peter Morris. Very good afternoon to you, whether you're a Braintree fan or a Boston fan. As we say each week, we will give you unbiased judgment, but it will be all from a Braintree point of view. My colleague from BBC Radio Lincolnshire is away to my left as well, so if you are a Boston fan, there will be a Boston centralised commentary from there. They've got Lincoln City, of course, on their main wavelengths. We meanwhile have Colchester United versus Fleetwood and Southend United away to Forest Green Rovers on 103.5 and 95.3 respectively. But here on the internet, it is the place to sit inside on a cold day like this, have a nice cup of tea, put your feet up and see how it goes. We'll lay out the game in a moment, just to give you the scene in front of me first, and I'll introduce you to Lee in a moment as well. It is, from behind glass, a beautiful day here at Cressing Road. If you're not behind glass, oh, it's evil. In fact, the programme seller, who normally stands in the corner to our left, has gone to the other side of the ground so that his face is in the sun and the wind is behind him, behind a fence. That is going right across the pitch. I'm glad there are two of us here today, which gives us both breaks to blow our noses now and again, because it's a right old cold one up the nostrils. It's a roll westerly it would be, so it's heading towards the fans away at the Quag end. If you know Cressing Road, there is the four sides. We're in a main stand on the south side with the sun at our backs, which is about 10 rows deep in seats. Opposite us is the very low terraced Cressing Road stand with orange and blue stripes along the top. To our left, the west end, is the clubhouse end, which has got lots of Braintree fans on it. They're quite often at the other end at the first half, but because it's segregation day today, they are at the clubhouse end. And away to our right is an impressive Boston United away following. There is maybe a couple of hundred there. The attendance will be well over 1,000 today. They are creating quite a bit of noise. They've had a few beers as well, and the Braintree Town home fans away to my left are responding in style. And I'm hoping that through the game you'll be able to pick up the extra sort of murmur and extra excitement feel coming from the terraces this afternoon, because it is an important game. We're yet to start. The teams are out on the pitch, and it is both a relegation battle and a battle of the form teams. Lee Barnard, former Braintree and several other teams players alongside me here. It is a weird one, isn't it? A relegation battle against two teams doing really well.
It really is. Like you say, Braintree on a good run at the moment, but like you say, Boston as well. So it's going to be interesting. Like you say, looking at the table, it probably won't reflect the game. So no, we're hopefully in for an entertaining game.
Boston are in their away kit, which... What are you going to call that? Turquoise sort of thing with a bit of a snakeskin pattern I'm going for.
That's pretty good, yeah.
It's artistic, but we of course are in no position to throw stones at glass houses at Braintree. We have a bright orange home kit with a white faded stripe, orange socks and blue shorts. It is like a paint factory has had an explosion here. The referee today is Kirsty Doyle, and the assistants David Nicholson and Robert Evans. All famous names in other places, David Nicholson, Robert Evans. The team news then for Braintree, as we're still awaiting kick-off. The main news is that John Akinde does come back into the squad after serving his one-match suspension at AFC Fylde. It was wonderful to have him in the commentary seat here last week. And the other big news there is that Kyrese Lisby replaces Kyrell Lisby on the left-hand side. It's a like-for-like left winger. Very much a like-for-like. I just realised as I said that, because of course they are identical twin brothers. Steve Pitt says that he's slightly faster. The referee blows the whistle and we're up and running. So Braintree kicking from left to right as we look towards the Quag end. They're on the ball straight away with Marley Marshall Miranda in the midfield area. Aidan Francis Clark out to his right, sends in the first cross to birthday boy Jermaine Francis, who doesn't get hold of it, and Boston clear up towards the halfway line. So the Braintree team this afternoon is Henry Gray in goal. The 4-2-3-1. The 4 is Ryan Clampin, George Langston, Louis Annesley and Aidan Francis Clark. The 2 is Marley Marshall Miranda and Matt Robinson. Remember, James Venning's still injured. The attacking 3 is Tom Blackwell and Kyrese Lisby out wide. Jermaine Francis in the middle and John Akinde up front. On the bench today, Manny Okonowu, Kyrell Lisby, Shay Cooper, Alan Judge, and Philip Haxtausen-Nielsen, the reserve keeper. As for Boston, well, they are going for a pretty standard, I would say, looking 5-3-2, which is a 3-5-2 in attack. Cameron Craig Gregory, the keeper. Their back three, Brad Nicholson, in his third spell actually at Boston, alongside Connor Teal and Zach Mills. The two wide players are Cameron Green, who we've seen here at Braintree before. He was on loan here about 4 years ago. And out on the right hand side will be Jay Rowe. The midfield 3-3M, Keaton Ward comes into the side today alongside Dylan Hill and Jordan Richards, the ex-Brackley, one of a couple of ex-Brackley players in the squad in fact. And then they've got a front two of Jacob Hazel and Jimmy Knowles. Now Hazel, St Nevis and Kitts, St Kitts and Nevis, whichever way round. It's a lovely place and it's warmer than here, and he plays for them internationally alongside Jimmy Knowles, who is in his second spell at Boston, having gone off to Accrington Stanley. They've loaned him straight back again. So you're up to date with who is on the field. It is a goal kick for Boston United for their keeper Cameron Gregory, away to my right in an all black currant outfit, I would say that, as he sends that over the halfway line. Let's get Lee into this. Does it look like they are basically forming out as we expect?
They are, yeah. They said they got the three at the back for Boston with the wing backs, and like you said, exactly what we thought for Braintree. So it's started okay. You know, Braintree have got forward quite a bit so far, so hopefully we can pile a bit of pressure on.
They're on the ball at the moment, playing it out in short passes from the back. They get caught out, and there's a first chance of the game for Boston United. Henry Gray comes quickly out of his goal at the feet of Jacob Hazel, and danger thwarted. And Braintree there, I think we're trying to do what Brighton and Hove Albion did in the National League Cup game all week, which was play beautiful football out from the back, but Braintree aren't a Premier League 2 team.
They're not, but they do play some good football. But that time, like you say, that there was a loose pass in midfield. Boston were onto it quick and played the through ball straight away to Hazel, who, to be honest, should have got his shot away. I know Gray come off his line very quickly and done well, but maybe if Hazel was more on his toes, he could have toe-poked it past him.
Throw in for Boston from their right-hand side. It looks like it's going to be a long one. Brad Nicholson, their left winger, left side midfield rather, is going over to the right side to take this, which indicates to me that he is a long ball specialist. There are certainly 5 have taken up position in the area. That is a long throw in. In fact, Henry Gray comes to the side of a 6-yard box to punch out. The ball is stuck between several players before finally Blackwell can just ping that away towards the right touchline for a moment, but Boston have still got them pressed back for the moment. Jordan Richards amongst others in the side of the area is still on the edge of the Braintree area. They can't get it free. Boston are managing to keep possession, although they are very, very crowded down. They've gone out to the left. In comes a left to right cross aimed for Hazel, gets a header down into the 6-yard box, hooked away by Annesley, I think, in the middle there, who has a second go at hooking it away. Still though, Boston have got Braintree pinned right back in their penalty area. They push it out to the left hand side, but there's a little bit of space there for Aidan Francis Clark for Braintree to get a foot in. Finally Braintree get things clear. They're going to actually try and break down the right. Blackwell is away. He's got a Kindy in the middle, Lisby on the far side, squares it towards a Kindy in the middle, but that is easily read and cut out by the Zach Mills in the centre defence for, or Dylan Hill rather, for Boston. And he isn't closed down, so wanders right up towards the edge of the area. Again brings in on the left hand side more support. Jimmy Knowles is the striker who's playing out wide on this left hand side and giving a little bit more space for Boston. They're on this left, and Braintree are still pegged back in the last third. Braintree aren't getting a look in here, Lee.
They're not. No, Boston have, they're piled on a little bit of pressure here. Braintree can't, get their foot on the ball or get out at all. It's been a good start from Boston.
The only possibility here is, of course, with Blackwell and Lisby. If Boston are committed forward, they're playing high. There's gaps to run into.
Which Braintree are good at. They're good at hitting teams on the break. So it's not it's not all doom and gloom with Boston pushing forward, because it does play into Braintree's hands.
Still 0-0 here between Braintree and Boston. We'll keep up to date with all the other games going on today as well. There was one early kick-off in the National League. That, I think, due as much as anything else to it being two local teams, and the police can only be in so many places at once. The score between Oldham and Rochdale, that game is actually finished now, 1-1 there. No goals anywhere else in the National League as yet today. Among the games we will be looking out for are Woking. They are at home to Barnet, so with respect to Woking, we're going to hope Barnet win. Dagenham and Redbridge are at home to Tamworth, and Aldershot are away to Altrincham. Maidenhead United away to Gateshead. These are all the teams that we've got an interest in, and they are all goalless in their games at the moment. Boston still in possession here. Braintree have managed to just push them back to the halfway line at the moment, but Boston are looking like they have a well-drilled formation and channels that they know how to work, and are just passing Braintree around at the moment.
They are, yeah. No, the Boston, like you say, have settled into the game really well. I just like to see a little bit more energy from Braintree. They look a little bit more flat than usual. Usually the home games that I've seen, they're very fast-paced, come out of traps quick, and they push the away teams back. But yeah, so far Boston are probably bossing the game at the moment.
I wonder slightly if they've been affected by that National League Cup game against Brighton, which was not half a chance to see if Hazel, if he can get back in. Clampin is the covering defender for Braintree, who on the edge of the area humps it out into touch on this near side for a Boston throw-in. Brighton weren't exciting to watch at all, but from a footballing point of view, it was beautiful in terms of every player maintaining distance between them, the tick over and rhythm of them for the whole game without really looking dangerous. But it was beautiful, patient stuff, a real lesson for Braintree, and I wonder if they're trying to do a little bit of that. They're going to have to defend another long throw in here. It's yomped in long from the left hand side. Again, Braintree failed to get it clear first time. Second time it's a clearance to the edge of the D. Marley Marshall Miranda tries to help it out a little bit further, but runs straight into Dylan Hill in the Boston midfield, who is going to try to head it down the right hand side. Ryan Clampin is covering. The first chance possibly for a break for Braintree. Jermaine Francis has got a lot to make up on the fullback Cameron Green, and Cameron Green turns him round and into touch for a Boston throw-in. And birthday boy Jermaine Francis has got his hands on his knees as he just gets some oxygen back into his lungs here. But I think that is basically all that Braintree can hope for in his early stages.
I think at the moment, yeah, like you say, Boston are definitely pushing Braintree back, and at the moment we are limited to break him, really. The pitch looks lively though. It looks like it's dried out a little bit. It looks a little bit bobbly, and yeah, at the moment, I don't know, Braintree just can't get their foot on the ball and make a few passes.
I seriously had a jog on it earlier. And it's very, very low cut.
Yeah.
If it was a golf pitch, this would be a green rather than a fairway.
But you know, when they do cut it so short, like you said, the bobbles do show a little bit at the moment. You can see that the ball is lively, so it's tough to get you under control and make a few passes, especially where Boston are putting them under pressure. Yeah,
we get to see quite a few pitches as we go around the country. I would put Braintree as one of the better pitches state-wise in the National League. Hang on, that's a clearance by the keeper straight into John Akinde, who, is not offside because that came off the keeper. Explain what's happened here. Basically, John Akinde does the thing where you just stand in front of the keeper. The keeper then booted it at his back. So did John Akinde obstruct the keeper?
I think that's what the referee's given, but to be honest, it looked like he was standing to the side, and the keeper's kind of kick was a little bit wayward and hit him.
I think the keeper just got it wrong.
Yeah, same. But I think the ref was under a bit of pressure and thought, maybe he was standing in front of him and blew up.
It is one of those split-second decisions. I think the referee got it wrong, but only 49% wrong.
Same. It could have gone either way, but it did look like John Akinde was standing just to the side, and it looked like the keeper got it wrong.
Yeah, it was just one of those moments where the keeper, there's no one else anywhere near, the number 9 just stands there, sort of token stands there for the keeper to have to walk round to take the kick, and I think he just got the kick wrong and did hit John Akinde from point blank range. The ball went right up in the air, dropped down again. John didn't seem to know what to do with it.
He weren't sure, was he? Yeah, he did.
All out on his own. The Boston defence didn't come back running. They were hoping for the whistle, and I think they might have influenced the referee a little bit there. We're back underway here though, 0-0 with Boston on this left hand side. Cameron Green just hoiks it up into the air into the midfield. Little bit of a heading battle going on. Jermaine Francis uses his bounciness to get a header on to Tom Blackwell, who's got Ryan Clampin on the left hand side now with a bit of space to run in. He's got Lisby on the outside, uses him as a foil, goes on, takes a shot across the face of goal.
That's good play by Clampin now. You know, he's driving into the Boston defence, and he's got his shot away and just wide.
That was the definition of a driving run, wasn't it?
It really was, yeah. It was good. He was on his toes. He anticipated the pass into the Boston kind of player, and he'd nicked it off him. like you say, powered through and just dragged his shot a little wide.
As a left back, you want to use your left winger, your left wide midfielder. That worked perfectly. Kyrese Lisby, primary weapon there, took 2 players with him, and then suddenly there was a lovely big gap to go into.
Yeah, it just opened up well for him, and like you say, he was right to take the shot on, but unfortunately, just like you say, just dragged it a little.
Did do a little bit of statistical research before this and worked out that the centre backs for Boston, they are well drilled. They maintain quite a large gap between them, so keep your eye out for those gaps. It's one of those things that when I say large, if you've got the gap that you know that you can still fill and close up, you're taking a calculated risk, aren't you, to just move people a little bit, so they can either move into an attacking or defending position.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's like you said, they'll be well drilled. I worked under the Boston manager for about 1.5 years at Southend, and he was a very good coach, good defender as a player as well, and he'll have these well drilled. He'll have them organised, and in one thing for sure, he'll have them fired up.
Offside against Braintree, so it's a free kick for the keeper Cameron Gregory to take from midway in the Boston half. Looking to hit that diagonal and long towards Hazel at the left-hand side of the penalty area. Doesn't get to the ball, but it drops down slightly fortuitously for Jordan Richards, who's in the midfield area. Bit of a scrap in that midfield. Boston do keep possession though. Well, that's a nice little turn on to Hazel on the edge of the area. And as he just tried to turn it round the last man, he did get away. He got Knowles coming in on his outside. Neither could actually then get a final shot at goal, and Henry Gray and the defence can combine to get the ball out into the midfield, where Aidan Francis-Clark hits it early and long down the right side for John Akinde. The ball runs and bounces just outside the area, so keeper Cameron Gregory can't pick it up with John Akinde bearing down on him, and instead thumped it up into touch. It seems that when Boston are on the ball, they have seconds to think about it. When Braintree are on the ball, they don't have time.
No, definitely not. Like you say, they close down really quickly, and Francis Clark, he put a good percentage ball in there down the line, kept it outside the box so the keeper couldn't pick it up, and now they've got to throw in a good position.
So we've had a couple of long throws in from Brad Nicholson of Boston. It's the first time that Braintree's long throw specialist George Langston can loop it in towards the near right side of the 6-yard box. Got a flick on from the defender. That's loose. Matt Robinson, edge of the area. The shot is blocked on the edge of the 6-yard box, and Boston do clear it away. That was a Matt Robinson special. Aidan Francis-Clark at the other end nearly got caught as the last man off the back of Boston's clearance. Got away with it. George Langston is there to help him out and hit the ball high and long towards the left-hand side for Braintree to come forward again. Kyrese Lisby, first chance for him to have a run. Stands one up for Akinde, who gets a header on target with a deflection. Goes off for what was clearly a corner and a goal kick given. There was a decision a while back. I said that I thought the referee got 51-49 wrong. That was about 10-90 wrong.
I know the referee the wrong side to see it clearly, but surely that was so obvious. It was a clear-cut corner, but yeah, obviously she didn't see it and give the goal kick.
She was within within 10 yards of it, and the assistant was level with it. Surely they could have seen the change in the flight of the ball. Just before that though, Matt Robinson, left-footed, edge of the area. He's scored 2 goals like that. It's become his sort of little signature thing, a whack it in through a crowded area. Not through on that occasion. From the clearance, it comes back with Kyrese Lisby chasing the defence backwards and forces them into a clearance into touch on the Braintree left-hand side now. Ryan Clampin decides that's too far back to try and get one towards the penalty area, so just throws it back into his defence, and we've got a rare moment here of Braintree just passing it around across their defence. Notably, the Boston back line were up quickly there, right up to the halfway line.
They are. Whenever that ball moves forward, they're moving with it, so the Braintree forwards are going to have to work hard to stay on side and kind of move when the ball's moving and not switch off.
Another little ball over the top, half chance for Boston here. It's up with keeper Henry Gray, and there's 2 defenders come across. Neither can block the shot, and Boston strike first. It's Braintree 0, Boston United 1. It's been coming, Lee.
It has. Boston have looked dangerous. That was a good finish from who scored that? Ward, was it Keaton Ward who scored that? Yeah, Keaton Ward, he's gone through one-on-one with the keeper, kind of looped it over the keeper, ran round him, and then he's just obviously blasted it into the back of the net. But it has been coming. Boston have started this game well, so Like I said, I feel Braintree have started a little flat, not their usual self, so they need to pick it up and kind of and make sure they kind of react well.
It was an overhead lob over the defence that got the ball into him, and then is that a dink or a lob over the keeper?
I think it was more of a bit of a lob, wasn't it? He's tried to lob him. He's kind of like I think Gray has got a hand to it, so it didn't go in straight away, and he's ran round to follow it in and kind of tuck it away nicely. And
just to make it slightly more dramatic looking, 2 defenders coming in from either direction, both flying in, feet in the air, and neither could quite get to it.
No, he finished it with good power, so they had no chance.
So Boston take the early lead here. Say early-ish, quarter of an hour, still a long way to go as well. It's Braintree 0, Boston United 1. A lobbed ball through from Keaton Ward past the keeper Henry Gray. 2 defenders flying through the air to try and block it on the line. Neither managed to get it to it. It's Braintree 0, Boston 1, and it's been coming. Boston are looking good. We're out of touch on the right-hand side. Throw in for... Is Gyro actually taking the throw-ins there? Is that in? It's normally the right wing-back's job, isn't it? Could be Conateel, I think actually.
Conateel taking
to the right of the 3 defenders. Throws it down the line. Kyrie Slisby goes up with the Boston player. Little nick there. And so decision given against Braintree. Just looking at a couple of the players gave a bit of a shake of the head towards the referee there. They're thinking that ref decision's not quite going their way.
Like you say, she's made a few now against Braintree, and a couple of them were 50-50, so you could let them go, but one was a clear cut, wrong. But she's not started the game well.
I don't think we're blaming the ref for the score anyway at all. Here comes in the free kick. It's taken low across everyone's heads. Hazel at the far post hooks it back into the 6-yard box. Again, it's a melee on the area. Past Henry Gray, and just inches wide of the goal. Crikey, that was so close to being 2-0 in quick succession. And again, Braintree not managing to clear. The final ball coming in there from the former Iron Cameron Green as well.
Like you say, they're struggling to clear the lines. The balls are coming into the box and it's bouncing all over the place and they can't get it clear. And yeah, Boston got another good effort on goal.
Braintree 0, Boston 1. In terms of the table, Braintree do remain in 16th. Boston remain in 23rd. They have been in 23rd for the last 14 games, whatever they do, but the difference for them is they are now, in terms of points, only 3 points off safety. Francis Clark with a short throw into Jermaine Francis. And Braintree in possession in the midfield area. Forest Green Rovers 1, Southend United 0, I'm hearing in one of my ears. Colchester still goalless against Fleetwood in the other one. Little nick in from the left-hand side from Braintree, from Lisby. Blackwell tried to do the cutest little sort of half back heel off the outside of his right foot. Didn't quite come off. Boston clear up over to the halfway line. Ryan Clamping tidies up for Braintree and plays it left to right to Francis Clark, who's looking quickly for space. Francis has covered half the pitch and is back out on his right hand side to collect, and just for a moment Braintree can just get a foot on it or two, get some passes together and just slow things down and give themselves a moment to think.
It was good movement from Blackwell though. He's ghosted in, unmarked, and it was unlucky. It was one of them crosses where he just did need a little nick.
Flick on for Akinde. Lisby's past him. Right-footed, tries to slide it early past the keeper, who saves. It's back out to John Akinde, who's turfed over. Free kick just outside the D. First decent chance though for Braintree.
Yeah, that was a good chance, through ball, Lisby onto it quick, and to be fair to the keeper...
there has been a goal. It's Braintree 0, Boston United 1. Boston with all the running in this early few minutes. They're looking really good. Keaton Ward, the scorer, lobbing the keeper Henry Gray. 2 defenders on the line, couldn't keep it out. It's taken 20 minutes for Braintree to have their first decent shot on target. Kyrie Lisby from the left-hand side. That has been saved. It's Braintree 0, Boston 1.
5 yards, ref, not 10.
Sorry, Lee.
No,
other channels called at that moment.
That's fine. Yeah, no, like I say, it was a good chance for Lisby. He's, it was, a half decent finish, but the keeper done well, and yeah, now they've got a free kick in a very good position.
The draft excluder's there. Yeah. So it's a wall just inside the area with the draft excluder Everyone in football knows what one of those is these days. The player who lies down along the back, which allows the wall to be able to jump and get an extra bit of height without the risk of a gap then appearing for a shot to go underneath. Blackwell, right-footed, lobs it in, straight at the keeper, well saved. I say well saved, actually the wall and keeper did its job. He made it look easier.
It did, yeah, that was difficult. It was a little bit close for Blackwell, and he got it up and over really well. He just come off the top of the wall and took the pace out of it, and the keeper got across, and it was an easy save for him.
He hasn't managed to score, but Lee, the last 3 games, Maidenhead, Fylde and Brighton, Blackwell has been absolutely on fire with his free kicks. Really, really good, and just unfortunate that none of them have resulted in a goal. From the clearance, Kyrie Lisby pings it all the way back down the field towards the Boston keeper Cameron Gregory. John Akinde was wandering back and a mile offside, doesn't even bother trying to go for that, so play continues. Boston square it left to right. Cameron Green out towards that right hand side. Connor Teal, sort of a teal outfit, isn't it, their away kit. Hits it long upfield for Jacob Hazel to chase onto. Louis Annesley tries to hold him off and push him out towards the byline, gets the ball off him and up the line to Kyrie Lisby. He in turn can't turn Connor Teal, but he can win a throw in for Braintree. Left hand side, deep position, Ryan Clampin. Get the feeling it's just a case of trying to settle now.
I think so, yeah, like you say, and they are trying. Braintree are, slowing the game down a little bit more to try and get some passing together. But like you said, Boston, they look well organised, and they're going to be difficult to break down.
Looking at the bench opposite there, Jamal Fifield also injured at the moment, so only 5 on the bench, amongst them Alan Judge. And of course, Kyrell Lisby. A big cheer from home fans for once. There's a back pass to the Boston keeper, Cameron Gregory, is hit first time and skewed it all the way out into the landy eye opposite us. So that is a throw in from the left hand side. That's a cheap opportunity for Braintree.
It is, like I said before, the pitch is a little bobbly, and it went back to the keeper, and to be fair to him, it did bobble a little bit, and he's just obviously skewed it off the pitch, and like you say, it's a throw in a good position for Braintree.
Elsewhere, as I mentioned, Southend are 1-0 down to FGR. Sutton are 1-0 down to Halifax. Wilston are 1-0 down to Eastleigh. Jermaine Francis picks up the ball from the throw-in on the edge of the area. Can't quite turn around and get a shot in. Has to release it to Matt Robinson, who goes backwards to Clampin. He's closed down. Boston then can push their offside line out towards the edge of the area, but Braintree can put it back out to Annesley. Cross from the right hand side to Akinde, chests it down for Clampin. We're at the left edge of the Boston penalty area to Lisby. Got a chance to turn it onto his right and take a shot, but always riding well over the top of the crossbar. Gets a celebratory cheer from the Boston fans away at that end, and even when they are getting the ball, they're turning around and no one can quite get that window to get the shot in. No,
it was positive play from Braintree, but like you said, they were moving the ball around the edge of the box, trying to get their shot away. But yeah, this Boston team, like you said, they're well drilled, and they couldn't find their shot, so eventually popped out to Lisby, who did get his shot away, but it was high and wide.
Boston fans away to our right hand side in their colours of yellow and black, with St George's crosses or ensigns done in those colours, with "You fill up my senses" written across one. It's that old Sheffield United song, isn't it? Like an old Chip Butty or something like that. It's up north culture, not to do with us. Right, okay. We're out of play for a Braintree throw in now, right hand side, with Tom Blackwell just is going to leave that for George Langston to take a long jog up the field. We were joking with John Akinde last week that George Langston, his stats with the sports bra thing that you wear underneath that measures your distance, he covers twice the distance because he comes up to take the throw-ins and goes up for corners.
Yeah, it's one way of getting you kilometres up.
He's rolling the ball in his shirt before finally winding up to near post. Akinde's got the knock on to Blackwell, tries to chest it down to Robinson on the edge of the area for another Robinson special. That is closed off, and Robinson plays out to Kyrie Lisby, who tries to get past 2 on the edge of that area. He looks for some sort of decision from the referee, doesn't get it, because really he was never going to get past 2 defenders who were just holding their ground. But I think a bit like Brighton on the week, they're doubling up a bit on Lisby. Yeah, they are, and then like you said, he was falling backwards, was never going to get the foul, but yeah, it's a little bit more positive play from Braintree, a little bit more controlled kind of pressure. So hopefully they can get just hopefully carry on, and then the chance will come to get the equaliser. Braintree 0, Boston 1, the goal on 15 minutes here. George Langston, or Ryan Clampin rather, on the ball for Braintree. Left hand side, plays it off the back of the heels of his opposite number and waits for the ball just to bounce back into his arms to take the throw in himself, midway in the Boston half. Little 1-2 off the throw in, and he's going to go backwards to the halfway line to Annesley. They close down very, very quickly. This press, you watch for a team choosing when to press. So far it's just full on press when you can.
It'd be interesting to see how well they keep it up the whole game though, because like you say, they're working really, really hard at the moment, but it'd be interesting what their fitness is like, and second half they might tire a little bit and Braintree might get a little bit more joy.
Maidenhead have taken the lead at Gateshead, 1-0 to Maidenhead. Not enough to put them outside of the relegation zone as yet, but the relegation zone mark moves up a bit to 37 points. So as it stands, Braintree back to 5 points off relegation, which seems to have been something of a Groundhog Day for them. Whatever they do, they seem to be 5 points off relegation. They're on the ball now with Lisby left hand side. Lets that bounce for another throw in. He's going to keep the momentum up and take it himself quickly to Clampin, who's just behind him. Very tight to the byline here. Lisby with one arm outstretched to hand off to the defender behind him. Uses Clampin inside him, but Clampin is watched very closely by Keaton Ward, the goal scorer, who is up to the halfway line and tries just to catch Braintree on the hop with a diagonal ball through the midfield. You're not generally going to get away with that, and they didn't. Tom Blackwell was the man who intercepted, and that means that Braintree are back in possession. Across the halfway line now for Ryan Clampin, left hand side. He's past one, runs into the second player, turns round on himself, and as he does so, well, the ref says that he held the player off and gave away a free kick. Look the other way to me. So what do you think?
I'm not sure. I think it was a foul. He's kind of went past one, ran into the next one, and he has kind of like pulled him or pushed him. So the ref for me got that one right. But like you say, it's been better from Braintree. They're passing the ball around a little bit more, and they're slowly getting on top. Boston, understandably, have gone 1-0 up and kind of sat in a little bit deeper, and they're probably going to let Braintree come onto them a little bit and maybe try and hit him on a break.
Boston's goal scorer Keaton Ward, he's one of a couple of Mansfield Town products here, which generally there's some sort of coach somewhere who's a reason, or someone knows someone, doesn't it? Although I guess Mansfield not a million miles from Boston.
No.
He went there via Kettering, that's a bit nearer to Boston, isn't it? A career path that went down the A14. Now Boston, from that position, while I'm looking at my notes, have got themselves a throw in right hand side, and this is in range for Brad Nicholson, the left of the three centre backs, to lob this one, luzz it rather.
It's an absolute missile, isn't it? He's got some distance on this.
So he's sort of about level with the edge of the penalty area. Let's see how far he gets this one. There's some height on it as well. To the near post, gets a flick on header well over the top of the crossbar. That is a weapon and a half.
That's like 6 yard box in line with the post from way out there. That is some, like you say, it's going to be dangerous all afternoon.
He's also got the range that he can vary it a bit, whereas George Langston at the other end can get to the near side of the 6 yard box, but that's the limit of the range, and so really it's the same throw in most times.
Yeah, exactly. You can kind of defend that a little easier. This one that was it Nicholson who's got it. He's just he can either lob it a little bit or it comes in a bit lower and flatter. So he's got a little bit of variety in it.
We're half hour into the game. Boston very much on top in the early stages. Braintree have levelled it out a little bit since the goal for Boston, leading 1-0. But at this point, I'm going to feel okay that it's only one goal. It could have been more. That chance from Cameron Green just a minute or so after the goal, that would have really changed things here. Lisby down the left hand side. He's managed to get past the fullback and get a low cross in. It was a left foot side footer towards the near post. Boston blast that away up towards the halfway line, and Braintree's defence are there. They have now, I think, got up to speed that they're going to be pressed very quickly. I feel that each defender now has got that little bit more urgency when they're on the ball.
You know what, that's exactly it. Like I said, they come out a little bit on their heels and weren't really ready for this Boston press, but like I said, Braintree, they've stepped it up. They've definitely stepped it up. They're more on the ball, and without creating anything, they're taking charge of the game now.
Clampin clashes with the Boston midfielder, and the referee with a hand out there was exactly right. It was he'd won a header, the ball bounced down and he went in. There was nothing he left a bit on the defender. He got there a millisecond too late. Nothing in that. It was worth an eyebrow or something like that from the referee. Nothing more. You can see her hand out was just easy boy.
No, exactly. It was a little bit late, but nothing too bad. So I think she dealt with that well.
It's going to be a long free kick. I'm intrigued on the halfway line. John Akinde chatting with the couple of defenders around him. Do centre forwards and centre backs chat?
They do. For me, it was a bit of a, I don't know, being a bit sneaky. I'll try and talk to him to try and, just take the eye off the game or try and make him feel relaxed. But really, all I'm doing is I'm trying to distract you. It weren't really just to catch up or anything. But you do get to chat to him. But for me, it was a bit of an ulterior motive.
Oh, Braintree breaking in a wave here out to Robinson on the right hand side, but Blackwood just ahead of him. It was a 5-wide orange wave going down the pitch, but with a turquoise, whatever colour, teal dropping back wave going back behind it, which is enough just to hold it off, and the ball goes out of play on the right hand side, but it's still an orange ball. George Langston feels that this one is in his range, so we'll compare it to the Boston throw-in just 2 or 3 minutes ago. This one I reckon will drop about chest height at the corner of the 6-yard box. What do we think?
I think you're spot on. Yeah, we've seen this too many times.
Akinde is there. It means that he has to stoop to get to it. Here it comes. It's got to flick on to the edge of the area. Clamp in. Well, goes for the spectacular. That was never ever going to go anywhere near the goal. There were too many people in the way, but he did get a deflection on it. It loops up and down onto the roof of the net, and it is going to be a corner. And I haven't noted a corner as yet. This is the first corner for Braintree. Is it the first of the game even?
It may well be.
Yeah.
Maybe Boston. Did Boston have one? I think they might have won. But that was worth a shot from Clamping. He was off balance though, so it was always going to go high, but luckily he got deflection.
There's plenty of fun in games on the line. It's put into the near post, too low though. The nearest defender at the near post can just clip that up towards the halfway line, and it's a chance to break here. The break is on. It's a foot race between Aidan Francis Clark and Jimmy Knowles. Henry Gray though beats both of them by coming out of the Braintree goal halfway down the pitch and gets Braintree back on the front foot. Ball hit over the top to Kyrie Slisby, and that was unfortunate. He'd beaten the offside trap, he got him behind the back line, the ball bounced perfectly for him, and as he ran, it just bounced up and caught his hand and bounced backwards.
Yeah, like you say, it was a good run from him. Third man run, and Robertson played a good ball in behind, but his touch just let him down a little bit. It was a little bit behind him, to be fair, and he had to kind of check his run, but still it was there to be controlled, but like you say, it popped off his foot and then he got away from him.
That's the voice of Lee Barnard. It's still Braintree 0, Boston United 1 on BBC Essex here. Wealdstone elsewhere still losing. Ebbsfleet drawing, fired. Oh, another chance here for Boston. Hazel, he's got an overlap to his right hand side. He's got himself though. He used it as a foil. Jordan Richards, I think it was, coming through on his left hand side. Sorry, it's Jimmy Knowles on his left hand side. Went right instead, but actually walked straight into the next defender. Braintree then clear it back into the midfield. But the ripple of applause around us is from the Boston away fans next to us, because everything they're doing looks halfway hopeful.
Exactly that, yeah, and then Annesley then he a bit slow on the ball, got caught on it, and they broke really quick. Like you said, they're lively, they're well drilled, they're lively, and Braintree are gonna have to really up their game and try and get something out of this game.
Yeah, just to confirm those other scores: Wealdstone 1-0 down against Eastleigh, Maidenhead United 1-0 up at Gateshead, and Boston winning a corner here from the right hand side. Out of not a lot. There wasn't much on, so just play it off the defender, get yourself a corner. I'm going to come back to you in a minute, Lee, about what discussions between strikers and defenders are. I was going to chat to John about it last week and forgot. Because now and again you see it happening, and you think, what are they saying?
Yeah, it varies. I don't know, you just kind of, oh, you alright mate, how you doing? Oh, how's he getting on? And then, like I said, for me, it was just about trying to distract him.
Here comes the corner. It's an outswinger, high and drops into the middle. That's a header over the top of the crossbar. The fact that Boston could get a header underneath it and none of the defenders managed to push the player off is a slight little bit of worry there.
It was. That was a free header, literally just outside the 6-yard box. Luckily, that the ball was just a little bit too high and he couldn't get over it. But they could have easily, gone into the back of the net.
Jai Rowe, the right wing back, with that. Is it worse if you know the player? If it's someone that you're either mates with or you played with before?
Yeah, a little bit. You kind of, I've played against a lot of, ex-teammates and things like that. And you have a chat and things like that. But then in the back of your mind, I don't know, you just want to win the game.
Flick onto Kyrie Slisby. He's got behind the final defender, and the ball just overruns him and into the hands of the goalkeeper. The final defender went down there, I think, looking for a free kick or to just make it look as if he was fouled and spare some embarrassment maybe. Fortunate for Boston that bounced off, maybe the pitch is too good, bounced through to the keeper, but Lisby just a couple of times now has managed to get through behind the line.
Yeah, he's timing his runs really well, so yeah, it's definitely a threat. It's just a shame he couldn't get on the end of that one.
Little 1-2 involving Knowles. Knowles has got Francis Clark all over him, goes down, doesn't win a free kick, tried to sell it, referee doesn't buy it, and Braintree clear down their left. It's John Akinde's chance to run down that left hand side with Lisby back on defensive duties. He ain't as fast as Lisby, he's beaten to it. Now Boston hit it back down towards Jimmy Knowles. Out on the right for them. Offside though. Now Steve Pitt says that Kyrie Lisby is faster than Kyrell Lisby, and Kyrell agrees that they're both pretty fast though, aren't they?
Yeah, I would love to be that faster. They're like you said, they've both got good pace, they're dangerous wingers, and at the moment, you know, Kyrie, he's making a few runs in behind, so hopefully Braintree can keep picking him out, and that one chance, that next chance, hopefully he'll put away.
I'm pleased for him. He's got one of those careers so far where he's done the non-league thing, he's done the top class academy thing at Watford and at Brentford. Then you think, right, if I'm not going to get into Brentford's first team, you're looking at Colchester's first team. Arrived there straight in the under-21s and has gone straight out on to get first team football again. It's still a really successful career, but you got to feel that he's having to fight for it.
Yeah, exactly that. It's tough, you know. You know, he might be at these decent clubs, you know, at Colchester and these good academies. But like you say, at the end of the day, you want first team football, and sometimes you do have to, you know, go out on loan to find these games.
When you've got a CV with Brentford and Watford and Colchester, then it might feel that Braintree is a step down. I was really lovely to hear the two twins being interviewed on BBC Essex on Friday night and referring to it being great to be getting top class first team football, and a reminder that if there are about 200,000 players for organised formal teams in the UK, you're in the top 5,000 if you're in the National League. You're in the whatever percentage, that's the top couple of percent, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly that. Listen, this National League is a good league, you know, that I don't know. The standard is definitely improving. It's a tough league with good players. So if you can get a game in the National League, I'm telling you, not many people do it. So yeah, it's something to, you know, be proud of.
I love that. If you started to talk there, it just went quiet in the stand around us. We have literally Boston fans to our right, Braintree to our left. So when you got one of the old gits like me, who we love at matches, who just shouts out something one way or the other, and it makes the other side laugh. Yeah. I'm loving it. And I mean that in a nice way. Still 1-0 to Boston here. Still Braintree are hitting balls over the top for Kyrie Lisby to run into. He's down the left-hand side, up against Brad Nicholson, manages to sort of chivvy alongside with him, and the ball bounces out for another corner.
Yeah, Lisby done well there. You know, he's like, again, he's direct, he's hungry, and he's put them on the back foot, and he's got a corner for Nicholson.
Yep, who is that on that right-hand side? I'm impressed that they're not playing at all where I thought they were going to.
To be fair, I think he is playing on the left, but he had to cover someone then, I think.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
Blackwell puts in a bit more height on this corner. It gets a defensive header at the near post, still loose on the edge of the area. Annesley tries to flick it down towards George Langston. That's the two centre-backs, yes, for Braintree on the D. Neither of them get to it. It's still loose. Boston not quite getting it away. Finally, it's hooked away down the right-hand side towards the halfway line, where Aidan Francis Clark on the halfway line isn't going to allow Jimmy Knowles to get anywhere near it, and slides it out diagonally back to Jermaine Francis, who I think has redone his dreadlocks for this one. Looking around ahead to his right. There is space, but he's gone left, where we're trying to get Kyrie Lisby on the ball as much as possible here. That is clear. He side puts it in Akindi, edge of the area. He's got Miley Marshall-Miranda just off him. Thought about a shot for just half a second, but doesn't. Plays a 1-2 with Francis Clark. Now he takes the shot. Oh, and that was beautifully taken. It was charged down from about 4 yards away by the defender, by his cheek in fact, who did well not to look as if he was hurt. Boston, though, break really quickly. Cameron Green down the left-hand side. He's away towards the edge of the Braintree area. He's got Aidan Francis-Clark all the way back with him, who's done enough to turn him wide. And as he plays a little 1-2 with Keaton Ward, Francis-Clark catches Ward and gets a yellow card for it, which is a softish yellow card, but I don't think you can argue.
That's soft for me. Yeah, you know, he has caught him, but it wasn't that bad. Worth a telling off, but I'm not sure about the yellow card. I think the yellow card was a bit harsh.
Booking for AFC, Aidan Francis-Clark, not Arsenal, clearly.
No, I think it was Jermaine Francis, wasn't it?
Oh, was it?
I think it was Jermaine Francis.
Oh, I do apologise. That's what I get for looking at my notes. Thank you for the correction. On his birthday as well. That's harsh.
At least he got a card, eh?
Sorry, that took me a second. Catching up. Glad there's someone up to mental speed here. It is Braintree 0, Boston 1, and it's a Boston free kick from the left-hand side. There are a lot of players to put this in towards the heads of, and it bounces all the way through a crowded area. How you manage to bounce a curling in-swinging ball on the edge of the 6-yard box with something like 10 players running on it and not to hit anyone or anything.
I mean, what a delivery. It was whipped in with pace and the right height, but like you say, I don't get how no one got on the end of that, and thankfully it just went about a yard past that far post.
We're into the last few minutes of this first half. I'm expecting to see the board up in the next maybe 2 or 3 minutes or so. Elsewhere, Dagenham and Redbridge have taken the lead at Tamworth. Results not going great for Braintree generally today, but a couple of flick-ons. Kyrie Slisby, edge of the area, does a little bit of a juggle. Look to try and tee it up maybe for some sort of overhead kick. It didn't come off, but Braintree do keep possession. Robinson, edge of the left-hand side. He's got Lisby back to help him just to keep possession. All parts of the pitch there closed down very quickly. It's not just the defence. Anywhere, Boston are right on them straight away. Still, though, in Braintree possession. George Langston through the middle of the field. Out to the right to Blackwell, right by the byline. He's closed down by Cameron Green. And as the ball comes off Green, it goes off the end of the pitch, not the side. So it's another corner for Braintree as we head up towards half-time here. And the first 15 minutes, there was only one team in this, wasn't there? It has felt a little bit more, I would say Braintree are marginally on top.
I think so. I think, you know, like exactly that. The first 15 minutes, only one team, but since then, Braintree has slowly got into this game, and for me, they're on top. They're on top now.
Oh, that's a stood-up chip that comes down very vertically in the middle of the 6-yard box, but because of the lack of speed, it allows defenders to get underneath it, head that out towards the halfway line, where Aidan Francis-Clark hits it back diagonally right to left, exactly how they scored here the other week. Not this time though. Jermaine Francis on the end of it is watched. He does keep possession though, tries to kick it in from the left-hand side. That is deflected, and it's another Braintree corner from the left-hand side. It's the first feeling in the game I've had of here's a bit of pressure.
Yeah, it is, and it's kind of the momentum's there, and like you say, it's been, you know, pressure now where, you know, Boston are on the back foot, and you know, now there's corner after corner. It's, yeah, hopefully now, like you say, you've seen the game turn.
Blackwell then with an in-swinger from the left-hand side, his left arm up in the air, and it's a similar one. There's more of a curl on it, just beyond most of the defenders, but Cameron Green leans forward just to get a touch on it with a diving header in his own area, and it goes out for a throw-in on this right-hand side. Right, everyone's calling for something. I don't know if you can see what, Lee.
I didn't see that. I was looking at the short throw.
No, so was I. Francis and Marley Marshall-Miranda out on his right-hand side. Everyone else is just getting on with it now. Ryan Clampin in the middle, left-footed, takes a whack at it from 20-30 yards out, high tariff and high at the bar. I think Boston will be happy with that.
I think so. You know, it was a little bit too far out. It was, yeah, I don't know. Clampin got a little bit excited, thought he'd let one go, and yeah, it was high and wide.
I haven't yet worked out a way through Boston, other than basically the high line. So just use the speed of Lisby, the speed of Lisby, to get past them.
Yeah, he's got him behind a couple of times. Like you said, they've got a bit of a high line, but like you say, they are well organised. I knew they would be. You know, Coco would have, you know, training wise, it'd be well drilled. So it's going to be hard, but like you say, the momentum has changed, and there's a bit of pressure from Braintree now, and hopefully they can keep this going, and Boston will crack.
There will be a minimum of 1 minute of added time at the end of this first half. It's their work rate off the ball, isn't it?
Yeah.
Braintree's on the ball themselves, left side. John Akinde has the ball bounce up with him. He gets a little shove and he's won a free kick. So I think this is going to be the final chance of this first half, and it will be a free kick for Tom Blackwell to take from the left-hand side by the byline. He will be able to curl this in, an in-swinger towards goal. So all of the defenders are along the edge of the penalty area. You're looking to drop this roughly level with the penalty spot, edge of the 6-yard box, slightly too far away for the keeper to get to it. Can he put this one right on the money? Almost everyone is up there, and it comes to the near post, and it does come all the way through to the keeper, who fluffs it first time, but it bounces up in the air, and he stretches over the top of Kyrie Slisby to collect it at the second attempt. There goes the the half-time whistle from the referee, and a half-time which has seen Boston very much on top in the early stages. A well-deserved 1-0 lead to them, certainly so far as the early stages was concerned. Keaton Ward's the scorer, who's come back into their side today, lobbing keeper Henry Gray from maybe 15 yards or so out. There were two defenders coming in to try and clear it off the line. Neither could quite make it, and so 1-0 to Boston. Nearly two, just a couple of minutes later, Cameron Green, the former Ironman, with a side footer just past the post. At the other end, it took a long while for Braintree to get any chances going. On 12 minutes, Clampin did have a shot across the goal. There was a booking for Jermaine Francis, and a couple of half chances really, nothing to write down as such, but it's the momentum of the game. It's gone from being all Boston to being marginally Braintree. That's probably the way you want it to be going, and gives something for Steve Pitt to say at half-time.
Oh, definitely. It's going to be positive at half-time. You know, they've had I would say a slow start from what I've seen recently at home, and they got punished. You know, Boston were very organised. They were on their toes and got their nose in front. Since then, they've dropped a little deeper, and Braintree have kind of sensed that, and you know, now they're on the front foot and they are building momentum. They're piling the pressure on, and you know, set plays more and more coming. That last one from Blackwell that I thought was on the money, but no one got on the end of it. But it is slowly coming. Like you say, I think Steve Pitt will be happy at half-time. Not necessarily the score at the moment, but the way they've reacted, and they've got themselves back in the game. And at the moment, it looks like there will only be one team to go on and score. But this Boston team, like you said, they look good. So it'd be interesting to see how they come out at the start of the second half, whether they do sit in and kind of soak up the pressure, or whether they come out.
Thanks very much. That's the voice of Lee Barnard, who will be back with us for the second half. Just to give you the half-time scores elsewhere: Altrincham 0, Aldershot 0. Dagenham and Redbridge 1, Tamworth 1, Ebbsfleet 0, AFC Fylde 0, Forest Green Rovers 2, Southend United 1, Gateshead 0, Maidenhead United 1, Sutton United 0, FC Halifax Town 2, Wealdstone 0, Eastleigh 3, Woking 0, Barnet 1, and Yeovil 0, York City 0. The earlier result was Oldham 1, Rochdale 1. In the as it stands table, it's as you were for Braintree Town in 16th, but the teams behind them are sneaking up. Second half full-time commentary to full-time commentary to come on the BBC Essex online and sports app. We're going to head off for 10 minutes now to have a bit of a break. You will hear me do reports into other outlets during that time, but otherwise we'll see you in a little bit. Half-time here. It's Braintree 0, Boston 1. Welcome back to Cressing Road for Braintree Town against Boston United. Boston 1-0 up here at half-time. Second half just to get underway. I'm Peter Morris, Lee Barnard alongside me in the commentary box. I get knocked down, but I get up again was playing a Tannoy. He does try and play apt songs at half-time. Braintree very much the worst of the teams in the early stages of the first half, but as the half went on, they got back into it a little bit. They still trail 1-0, but there's more hope for the second half. The goal came on the quarter-hour mark. Thereabouts, Keaton Ward lobbing keeper Henry Gray from close range. No substitutes at half-time for either side. So for Braintree, we're as we were. Henry Gray in goal. A back four of Ryan Clampin, Louis Annesley, George Langston and Aidan Francis Clark. It's 4-2-3-1. The two are Matt Robinson and Marley Marshall Miranda. The three are Kyrie Slisby, brother of course of Kyrell, twin identical he's on the bench. Jermaine Francis in the middle, birthday boy, and Tom Blackwood on the right-hand side. Blackwell even on the right-hand side. John Akinde is the number 9 position up front. Braintree have come out the traps here. Ryan Clampin on the left. He's got Matt Robinson just inside him. Little quick interchanges of passes. The rate of passing seems to have gone up suddenly. I think Steve Pitt has probably said, right, you need to do what you did, but 10% more and 10% faster. Tamani Maranja, the Marshall, tries to play it up to Jermaine Francis, who wins a throw-in on the left-hand side. Am I right here, Lee? There's a different feel to Braintree.
There is. They're on their toes. They come out the traps, and yeah, it's a different start from the first one, and much needed. So, like you say, Steve Pitt's got into him, and it's working so far. Yeah,
I don't know if he's an old-fashioned hairdryer type manager at half-time. I can't imagine him losing it like that, but he can have a menace about him when he wants. Every good manager can.
I think you're right, but like you say, I can't imagine him really losing his tempo. He would do it in a controlled way, but he will get him going.
High ball over the top to put Kyrie Slisby in down the left-hand side. He's had to go wide to the corner flag, slips over on the ground, tries to use it to his advantage, but I think he handballed it as he did so there, and he's shaking his head, and that didn't quite come off. And so it's a free kick to the keeper, Cameron Gregory, between the sticks today for Boston United, the former Birmingham and Wolves Academy player, one of those who made the short trip from Kettering Town to join the squad at Boston. Under Graham Coughlin, former Southend player and Southend coach, of course, and amongst the players he coached Lee Barnard. You're surprised to see that he's actually managed to turn things around a bit for Boston this year?
Not really. No, he was, at Southend he was first team coach under Phil Brown, and he was an excellent coach. Like you say, very thorough, good with the boys. So I'm not surprised he's got this Boston team, high energy and good quality, really.
Yeah, massive experience, of course. He had 10 clubs, in fact. Southend was the last. Blackburn, Plymouth, Sheffield Wednesday, and he's also had various management roles at Bristol Rovers, Mansfield, Sheffield United in the development seat, and Newport County as well. So really has picked up contacts as well. As Akinde turns a defender away to the left-hand side. Akinde's into the area, squares it in towards the near post. Kyrie Slisby was there, but well watched by the defence, who can only hook it away into touch. This is the mirror image of the first half. It's Braintree, the team, who are going, and Boston, who are stopping.
It is, and this is the Braintree we're used to, especially of late. They usually at home are high energy, pushing the away team back, and first half it didn't feel like that in that first little 15-20 minutes, but they're back to normal.
George Langston just waited for Jimmy Knowles to run at him. George was the last man and just did a little Cruyff turn on him. He wouldn't have done that in the first half. They have been told to express themselves. It's fed in by Annesley towards Akinde at the edge of the area here. That is watched though, and Braintree have to come backwards to George Langston up into the midfield area. Looked to side-foot it through to Tom Blackwell out on the right wing. That was watched and cut out though, and Jimmy Knowles is the man who cuts that out. Chance here to Dylan Hill off the back of him to run it through over the halfway line. We've got Hazel is out wide to Cameron Green on the left-hand side for the moment. Looking for support from Brad Nicholson just inside him, who hits it long diagonally left to right to Jairo, the right wing back, who's come a long way out towards the corner flag. Jermaine Francis is very deep back there defending with him. He's got round him and got to cross into the near side of the area, which Louis Annesley turns away. And having said it's all Braintree for this first couple of minutes, the fact that Jermaine Francis was tackling right back in his own penalty area shows that Boston are now the team who are trying to turn Braintree on the break.
Exactly that. It was Braintree at the start, and now Boston was. They're kind of they're kind of that little phase of play. They're pushing Braintree back, and it's their turn to have a little attack.
Connor Teal with a throw into the edge of the area. Dylan Hill on the edge of that area, turns, looks for Teal back on this byline. Hazel's come a long way out towards the byline on the right hand side and wins a throw in off Clampin. So the first 3 or 4 minutes weathered by Boston, and Braintree now back into a defensive position, having to defend a throw in which will come in from this right hand side. It's going to be a long one, I'm sure, from Nicholson, who's got a little bit of a man bun going on. Just like George Langston, he rolls the ball to dry it off first. He's not got the long sleeves that George Langston wears underneath his shirt. It's just bare arms. And finally Nicholson winds up, and that's some height on that one. Drops a little bit low, or a little bit short rather, of the 6 yard line, and like a batsman deciding to hit it on the full toss. Ryan Clamping comes out and volleys that back into touch on this right hand side. So another go for Nicholson to wind up a throw in. He's slightly nearer the corner flag now. He can get this nearer in. John Akinde's trying to protect Henry Gray as this comes in. George Langston's head pops up above everyone else's like a little meerkat. Header back out to the right. In comes the second cross. It's Marley Marshall Miranda who finds that coming towards his forehead, flicks it out to the edge of the area. Boston, though, still in possession. Keeping Braintree pegged back for the moment. Aidan Francis Clark, though, gets a foot in for the iron. Right foots it up the side of the pitch. It's a bit of an up and under that Matt Robinson gets underneath on the halfway line and tries to help it on its way up the line. He's won a throw in just inside the Boston half. So after the first few minutes of being Braintree on the front foot, then a bit of pressure from Boston, we're back for a chance for Braintree to get back into this. This is a more open, even match.
Exactly that. It's end to end. You know, both teams are having their bit of play, so it's gonna be entertaining.
Just trying to see if there's any other difference in tactic for Braintree in this second half. They're certainly playing it much quicker from the back. George Langston hits it long and direct for John Akinde, but it's not going to fall to him. Drops back into the midfield area. Aidan Francis Clark again is on his bike down the right hand side. He's well watched though by Jimmy Knowles, who came a long way back with him, did the Boston striker. Francis Clark wins the throw in off him, takes it and then loses out possession to Dylan Hill. Throw in instead for Boston. And that feels very even, very toe-to-toe in the middle area.
It does, yeah, but I'm pleased with Braintree though. They've come out, you know, the players look like they've got a lot more urgency, and you know, I'm glad they're doing it from the start of the second half, not waiting and saying, right, let's keep it tight, and in the last, 30 minutes, 25 minutes, then we're up it. I'm glad they've come out the traps and they're trying to make things happen. But like you say, Boston, they're a good team. They weathered their little bit of storm that Braintree had, and now it is a bit end to end. It's quite open and. It looks like it's going to be a good second half.
As you were talking there, you may have heard a woo in the background. That was a long diagonal ball that was hit for Gyro, who first time just managed to gyrate and knock it on to Hazel, who in one fluid moment himself managed to, on the first time volley, hook it towards Henry Gray, but it was a really easy save. More of an ooh than a wow. They're coming forward again though down the left hand side now with Jimmy Knowles. He's out wide. He does like to drop out wide to the left and let Jacob Hazel play more of a number 9 expansive role across for number 9. You want your number 9 to go where he wants up front. Oh, little 1-2 chance here for Boston to come into the area on the left. Keaton Ward still got Knowles out there with him. He's got Brad Nicholson and Cameron Green behind, who sends it long left to right. Ryan Clamping gets underneath it, and Braintree can break here with Kyrie Slisby. Here we go, we're off at full pace down the left hand side. Off it, tried to play a 1-2 off Akinde. It was well watched in the middle by Brad Nicholson. It almost resulted in a 1-2 off Brad Nicholson back into his path. Didn't quite come off, but Kyrie Slisby hassles the defender, and he's trying for a corner there, wasn't he? But it's a goal kick.
It is, yeah. It was a good play by Lisby. Like you say, he got up to speed and ran, forward with the ball well. But the 1-2 with Lisby was with Akinde was, I don't know, it was quite easy for the defender to read, and he's kind of just shielded it out, and it was quite easy for him.
And Brownie points to Connor Teal, who is the right of the 3 centre-backs for Boston United, who came a long way back for Kyrie Slisby. We've talked in the first half of how fast Kyrie Slisby is. Well, Connor Teal clearly knows that and is enjoying the odd race with him. We're down the other end for the moment, where it's all a little bit agricultural, swings at it from both sides, and eventually it's a Braintree throw-in, attacking position, right-hand side, into the sun. Hang on. We've changed ends. Sorry, it's a Boston the attacking throw-in. I got fooled because Kyrie Slisby had stayed with the ball out on his right hand side, and it's only because his boot had come off. So he's going to relace himself off. Will Brad Nicholson do the decent thing and just give him a moment to come back on? He does. There's still a boot down there. Whose boot is that?
He's changed boots. I think after that slip in the corner, I think he's realised it's a little bit wetter out here, and he's put his studs on.
Here comes the long Nicholson throw. It's hit away at the near post. It's going to come back out to Nicholson. Turns it onto his left and swings an in-swinger towards the edge of the D. George Langston nods it forward out towards that middle area. Jermaine Francis trying to get on the end and trying to break. Blackwell just off him with a right foot out towards the Braintree right. You can probably tell by the way I'm speaking, it's Braintree are nearly getting something together half a dozen times in a row there, and then it doesn't happen.
Exactly, like even then, it was a great first touch from Blackwell, but his layoff was, it was poor really. It was straight to the Boston player, and like you say, it's just a little bit, that final kind of bit of quality is a bit lacking at the moment.
Yeah, I keep being on the verge of starting to describe a nice move forward, and then the second I start speaking, it falls down. Henry Gray is going to have a little play at being a sweeper, a libero for the moment. He's got Annesley to his left and George Langston to his right. It's actually useful when you've got a ball playing keeper, isn't it? The centre-backs can go that slight bit wider, and because of that it means that the full-backs can go slightly further up, and the whole shape of the start of your move is different.
No, definitely. It's really important now to have a goalie who's comfortable with their feet, because it's that extra player, it gets them out easier.
Francis and Lisby have done really well down this left-hand side to get down towards the corner flags. Lisby finally with it, who jumps over the ball, wins a throw-in, as well as wins a free kick right by the byline, near the edge of the penalty area. I thought he sold that one a bit.
He did, he knew what he was doing, he did sell it a bit, but it was probably just about a foul, but he made sure.
Tom Blackwell is going to come across to take this, so it's the left-hand side. It's almost a corner, but just slightly shorter than a corner. It means that Blackwell, I suspect, will do one of his specials where he sort of has a little dig at it and stabs the ball up into the air to drop it vertically down. I'm just hearing in my ear Colchester United taking the lead against Fleetwood. What a run Colchester United are on. Is it 13 or something now?
I think
it's
loss? 13 games. Yeah, I think if they win today, I think it's 13. Yeah.
They're still not quite on the edge of the playoffs, but they're looking good for the playoffs if they can keep this form up. Braintree on the ball there now with a cross into the area from Blackwell. That's easily headed away. Marnie Marshall-Miranda picks it out midway in the Boston half, is immediately charged down. Aidan Francis Clark picks it up off him. He is immediately charged down as well. He runs for the safety of the byline, has to give away a throw-in, but that tells you something. From right by the Boston byline up to the halfway line, and suddenly Braintree are in danger of having to do emergency tactics.
No, like you said, these Boston players, they push them really quickly, but Francis Clark done well though. He got a foul in the end, and
he got away with that, didn't he? There was a foul.
But like you say, he looked like he was running out of options, and luckily for him, he did buy the foul. Yeah.
Tom Blackwell to take this free kick, right hand side. There is a line of 7 or 8 along the edge of the penalty area. From 40 yards away, the referee blows a whistle and says, "Oi, back a bit, Tom." She's now happy. It's going to be an outswinger right towards the D. It's bounced, not cleared. Second, third attempts bounce. Braintree player down, nothing given. Hooked away towards the halfway line. It was George Langston who got something in the face there. There was a half-hearted shout for a penalty, but it's Braintree still in possession. George is staying up on the edge of the area, which is a slight worry as Braintree play it amongst their fullbacks. Marley Marshall-Miranda is in centre-back position for the moment as it's hit forward again for Akinde to try and knock it down to George Langston, who's enjoying being a striker for the moment. He's going to stay up there. Out to Kyrie Slisby on the left. Can he turn his man and get a cross in? He's got Clampin helping with him. Clampin who does get the cross in. It's aimed just over the top of George Langston. Annesley is still there right behind. The both of them up together to Akinde, who turns and hits that well over the top of the clubhouse end and the clubhouse itself for a goal kick for Boston United. But Braintree twisting there and keeping the big guys up for some while.
There was, and it finally popped out to Akinde, but like you say, he got underneath the ball and it was high, very high. Bit of a shame because it was half a chance.
Intriguing here, substitution for Braintree. Kyrie Slisby is the man coming off, and that looks like Alan Judge to me.
It is, yep, number 10.
Just because we don't have enough Colchester United links in this game. I think I worked out there was something like 7 Colchester United. You've got Lisby, Clampin, Marley Marshall-Miranda, John Akinde, Alan Judge, Shea Cooper was there. You've got Carl Duguid, of course, on the bench. Phil Coleman as well is there. You've also got the likes of Matt Searles and Ethan Lyons who have worked behind the scenes at Colchester. It really is a big Colchester influence going on here. It's Braintree 0, Boston 1. So Braintree still very much in this one. Now, what are they going to do with Alan Judge coming in?
It looks like Alan Judge is kind of going to be the holding midfielder and push Marshall, Miranda and Robertson on. So they, they've gone 3 in midfield, just change the shape a little bit.
As I sometimes say, I have Southend quite often in one ear and Colchester in the other. It's now 2-0 to Colchester in their game at Fleetwood. Alan Judge and Robinson, that's the sort of who you want there, isn't it? He's already yelled at the ref at least twice.
Yeah, like you say, very experienced. He's going to, hopefully get on the ball for Braintree, pull the strings, and like you say, be very influential. Yeah,
Blackburn, Brentford, Ipswich. He's got a vast experience there. And this is the earliest we've seen him in a game. Actually, he's come on just for that last 10 minutes or so, just to disrupt momentum in the last few minutes of games, but now we're actually going to use him for things. So interesting that they've gone for that rather than bringing Kyrell Lisby in place of Kyrese Lisby. We'll have to work out with Steve after the game what the thinking is there. For the moment though, it's Braintree having to defend. Aidan Francis Clark looking at George Langston saying, please hit this one up the field. I've got 3 players around the back of me. George duly does. It's up into that midfield area where there is a free kick given away. Tom Blackwell had gone in with his opposite number. I'm going to have to wait a minute to see who it is. Jordan Richards, who finally gets back on his feet. I don't think Braintree were happy that was any free kick or so, but it's going to be a free kick from the edge of the centre circle. What's your thinking there, Lee? Bringing in...
You know what, I still can't work out what they've done. It looks like, Blackwell's come over to the left, but I'm not sure if Jermaine Francis gone to the right and they're just going to leave McKindy up on his own, or whether Francis is still playing behind him. It's hard to work out at the moment with Boston in possession.
Free kick is taken diagonally out to the right-hand side. Gyro rather, is a long way up there. Up by the corner flag, is bundled out of touch, but in doing so does win a corner for Boston. And you can probably hear the well of noise from the Lincolnshire fans. There's a good couple of hundred of them have made the trip down to Essex today. It is a fine showing from them, although they have been highly critical of the men's toilets both before and during half-time. They're not wrong, but if you do throw loo rolls around like you're at school, they will look bad. Here comes the throw-in from a distance towards this side of the 6-yard box. It's a turn and shot from Jimmy Knowles, and that's going to win another corner. The referee's into the middle there just to check everyone's behaving themselves as they set up for this corner as well. There are a lot of Braintree players back. There's only Jermaine Francis on his own up front. As you would expect, defence would always leave one more at the back, so there are 2 Boston players back. They've got one of those caterpillar train type things for this one on the edge of the D, which is doubled in length because of the Braintree players in it. How do you fight a train? You build your own train in front and you fan out as it fans out. There are 4 Braintree defenders in the 6-yard box waiting for someone to come in to be marked, and the corner is easily hit away by those 4. Back out to the corner taker on his right hand side, who flings it back in as Keaton Ward. It's loose at the edge of the 6-yard box, still loose, bounces, half a couple of air swings at it from Boston players, but Braintree can get it away. That is away. Jermaine Francis tries to turn on the halfway line. He's won a throw-in on that halfway line. It's taken quickly to Tom Blackwell, but there are 5 Boston players back. There's nowhere for him to go, surely. He's dispossessed, and Boston hit it back downfield. That was a worrying moment there, because it's the ball from the corner. Describe how the ball came in and what happened from that corner.
It came in, and then the far post, it looked like the striker was left on his own, whereas Aidan Francis Clark dived in to try and block the shot, where he kind of dummied it a little bit, but then luckily for Francis Clark managed to get his toe to it and get it away. So yeah, it was a chance for Boston, but Braintree got away with that one.
One of those moments where you can do everything you can in your training to work out how to defend different types of corners, but physics will always work out differently each time. Now and again, you just got to throw yourself at the thing.
Exactly, and that's what Francis Clark done. He done well in the end. It was good defending, managed to clear the ball, and now Braintree are back on the attack.
Yeah, throwing from the right-hand side, George Langston puts his hand across his eyes because the sun is coming in diagonally across the corner flag opposite him. He's got some length on that throw in. Oh, it's allowed to bounce. This is dangerous. Tom Blackwell can't quite turn and get a shot in. It has a couple more bounces to go out for a goal kick eventually. That was another weird ball in to a packed 6-yard box that nobody managed to touch.
I can't believe no one got a touch on it. You know, it's coming in a good area, and you know the bounce has thrown everyone, and yeah, it was a reaction from Robinson, but he got too much on it, and it's gone out for a goal kick.
It looked to me that as it bounced past Tom Blackwell that he could have had a swing at it, but at the same time he did have 2 defenders behind him that I think he was leaning into to hold off.
Sometimes you're off balance, and it looks like from in the stand, you should be able to get your shot away, but when you're off balance, you know you're not going to get anything on target.
Striker's experience there.
I don't know what excuses.
No, it is easy from here. You say, go on, hit it, and it's you know that it's an inch away from your toe.
Yeah,
you're not going to hit it.
Yeah, sometimes it does look like it's easy to get your shot away, but actually it's not.
Oh, and the magic number of the attendance today is
1,077
1077,
and 378 away supporters,
of which 378 are from Boston. That is a fine showing from the Lincolnshire side. It's Braintree still trying to push down this left, and still as they try and create some momentum, it breaks down. Boston have got it with Jacob Hazel approaching the left side of the area, uses the overlap and passes it past Henry Gray and just past the right hand upright. That was close, but not close enough for a goal. Still Braintree 0, Boston 1.
That was close.
A worrying moment.
Yeah, Hazel done well there. He used the decoy of the overlap run, shaped to pass it, cut inside, and he's kind of just tried to pass it into the far corner, but just got it wrong.
We're coming up towards the half-hour mark. All chance for Akindi here. Takes the shot. It takes a wicked bounce, but it's well watched by Cameron Gregory in goal, who leaps high and avoids it bouncing over his head into the back of the net. Well, a half chance there.
It was a half chance. Good touch by McKindy. Got a good strike away. Couldn't really do much more. Defender, got in the way. Good block and into the keeper.
It remains Braintree 0, Boston 1. The second half has been a lot more even. We've seen Boston just a moment ago almost go 2-0 up. Hazel side-footing it past the keeper, well beaten, but it went just the other side of the upright. At the other end, John Akindi with a shot just a few yards out. Took a wicked loop, but the opposition keeper managed to get up to take that one. We've had a substitution as well. Kyrie Slisby off. We expected Kyrell to come on. He didn't. Alan Judge is on in the middle of midfield. That's the earliest we've seen him in a game in a Braintree shirt, Neil. It's Braintree 0, Boston 1. Oh, and a mile offside for Jacob Hazel as the ball is hit towards him. He carries on and kicks it into the back of the net. And surely that's a yellow card for time wasting, isn't it? I'd have thought so. Nothing given, so it will be a free kick. And just as I was doing a report there into the Colchester game that was, and mentioned Alan Judge, they've gone off about what a good player Alan Judge has been in his career.
He has. He's had a great career. He's a good player, and it looks like he's trying to get on the ball as much as he can in this game. They've changed the shape, gone to 3 in midfield with 3 at the back as well. But at the moment, I don't know, it still looks a little bit all over the place.
Cross from the right hand side from Marley Marshall Miranda went over everybody's heads. There was a bit of a woo from the home crowd, but no one could jump high enough for that, and eventually it goes out of play for a throw-in on this near side as we look. The Boston right hand side, they're playing from left to right as we look. Yeah, so that's 3 midfield now. Take me through it. What do you think the formation is?
I think they've gone for a 3 in midfield, a 3 at the back, and then you've got Clampin and Francis. No, not Francis Cock. Jermaine Francis down the wings. But then Akindi looks like he's a bit on his own, so I'm not sure why they've done that with wing backs as well as wingers. It looks like they're going to try and use a width. They're obviously doubling up down the width, both wings. They're going to hopefully try and overload the fullbacks. plenty of crosses, but I'm just hoping Kindy gets a bit of support, because he's looking a little bit isolated at the moment.
Offside against Boston. Henry Gray, the keeper, out a long way to take it into the very lengthening shadow of the stand that we're in, which has crept its way into the centre circle. Opposite us, Steve Pitt and the bench have all got their hands up over their eyes. They do moan about it at this time of year, but they can't see a thing because the sun is just above the stand that we're in and right in their eyes. They're watching Braintree in possession at the moment. Aidan Francis Clark, the right hand side. There's support from Alan Judge, who's out there with him, but Braintree are going to have to go all the way back to Henry Gray. Left footer. Each time he's looking to kick it towards the right hand side, so I think he's trying to bring in Marley Marshall, Miranda and Jermaine Francis, who are sort of working in a pair up in that right side a couple of times, but he's looking to hit it laterally and with speed, and it's off the end of the pitch for a goal kick for Cameron Gregory in the goal in the other end in his all purple outfit. It's still Braintree 0, Boston United 1. That goal coming on the 15-minute mark from Ward in the first half. Second half has been more of an even affair. Quite a lot of broken up play. John Akinde's had half a chance with looped almost over the top of the keeper, who managed to jump and pick it out. At the other end, though, Henry Gray watching a side footer from Jacob Hazel go just wide. We've had a substitution. We've had Alan Judge come in for Kyrese Lisby. Not what we were expecting. That means a change of formation in these latter stages. Will it get Braintree back into this one? The Iron 0, Boston 1. Still looking at the substitutes bench. Nothing more being readied as well. And sorry, Lee, you were bringing my attention to.
No, not really. It was just a formation, really. I know why he's kind of tried to put an extra one in the centre midfield to try and control the ball a bit more, but you know, at the moment
they're going backwards at speed. Henry Gray called into action there. Keaton Ward away down the left-hand side, who slid. You shoot it across the keeper. That was almost a pass across the keeper, which Henry Gray, I think, was slightly surprised to just go down and take it. He releases it long into the midfield. Chest down from McKindy. Matt Robinson off his foot. Side foots it out to Ryan Clampin with his little cheeky goatee on this left-hand side. He's off on his bike. Just though to pull a player, and Judge goes the other way. Long ball to Jermaine Francis. That's great control by Jermaine Francis right on the byline. Looks to cross it in, hits it right at the arm of the defender. That would have been a harsh penalty. The cross comes in at the second attempt from Aidan Francis Clark. That comes away. We're on the left hand side. Clampin cross left to right. Francis picks it up, but he's out on the right side of the penalty area. It's ping pong across the penalty area. This is a better cross into the middle. Players from both sides falling over each other. Tom Blackwell asks for a penalty. He's not going to get one either. Braintree maintain possession. Annesley and Judge in the middle here. Judge looking to his right, where Boston seem a little narrower in this second half. You mentioned that Braintree looking to move width.
I think so. You know, the extra one in midfield, you've got Clampin and Blackwell down his left-hand side, and you've got Francis and it looks like Francis Clark as well, actually, down the right. So they are looking like they're going to try and use the width, try and get crosses in. Like then, it's you know, cross after cross on that little bit of play. So I think that's the way they're going to get back into the game.
Judge wins a free kick. Braintree take it quickly to Francis. He's got to the byline on the right hand side, turns his man. Oh, and the cross is deflected back out, and actually to the one man who's upfield for Jacob Hazel. He's going to hold it up for a minute and just let some of those Boston players come up and keep him company. Plays a little 1-2, and there aren't enough Boston players coming up. They're going to sit back for a minute. That's interesting to me that they didn't all break in a big wave like they have earlier in the game.
Like you say, I think they're going to sit in. They're going to try and soak up this pressure from Braintree and see the game out. But it's dangerous, you know. Braintree, they're obviously going to go for it. So yeah, I don't know if it's going to be a good ploy for them, or whether they're going to try and hit Braintree on the break.
Another cross from Braintree coming in from the right from Francis Clark, headed away, but only as far as Ryan Clampin on the left-hand side now. Oh, he's got Matt Robinson on an underlap run into the area. All hands to the pump. Connor Teal decides to bang that one straight into touch. There are even 3 Boston players being readied. All right, get your pen ready. I've lost track already. We're frantically trying to look at who's coming off and on. So Jacob Hazel is going off, and he's getting a big round of applause. He often goes off about this time. He's going off as slowly as he can.
Coming on, number 39, James Gould, replaced.
Guy in the tannoy doesn't know either.
Number 18, Jimmy Knowles.
So Knowles is coming off. That's both of the strikers.
Coming on, number 10, Adam Marriott for Boston, replacing number 7, Keaton Ward.
And Marriott for Ward. Well, I half kept it. I think I got 2 out of 3. We're both frantically trying to keep up with our church notes here. And Lee, I'm hoping, is going to work out what the actual change in formation as well is. Right, we'll catch up with that in a moment, but we're back in play. Braintree with George Langston with a throw in into the edge of the area. So Robinson special from just outside the D on the full volley. Shaped well, beautiful loop and the power on it, but a good few feet over the top of the crossbar into the clubhouse end, where things are looking a little bit more tense there. Right, just trying to work out what's happening for Boston here. He's a big lad, the guy who's coming up front.
The number 39, yeah, he is a big lad. Obviously Marriott, I've played with Adam before at Stevenage as a striker, but it looks like he's going to be just behind the front two in the 10 role.
And have you worked out who the third one is yet?
Yes, so you've got number 39, James Gould's come on, Tony Weston's come on up front as well, so both the strikers have come off.
There we go. We're fully across it again. Tony Weston, you're right, is the other guy. So a new look front two for Boston.
3 really, yeah.
Yeah, it's 3, isn't it, with Marriott? Which is interesting. If you're defending a 1-0 lead, you basically change around your entire strike force.
Yeah, it's one of them where I think they realise that Braintree are going to push on, and maybe Adam Marriott will be trying to get on the ball a lot more to pin them back and to push Boston forward, especially with new legs up front. They're going to be willing runners, so yeah, it's a new headache for Braintree.
Yeah, they're thinking 1 isn't enough, possibly.
Yeah, I think you're right.
We've got maybe 8 or 9 minutes, 10 in this second half, plus whatever is to be added. Elsewhere, scores, the ones that matter mainly. Aldershot are 1-1 at Altrincham. Wealdstone are coming back into it. They are now 3-2 down at home to Eastleigh. They were 3-0 down. Woking at losing 1-0 at home to Barnet. And Maidenhead United are winning 1-0 at Gateshead. Elsewhere in the division, it's Daggers 1, Tamworth 3, Ebbsfleet 1, AFC Fylde 0, Forest Green Rovers 2, Southend 2, Sutton 0, Halifax 3, and Yeovil 0, York 1. Half a chance for Jermaine France, edge of the area. Big shout from the home crowd as Francis tangles with the defender, but referee not interested. In the as it stands table, Braintree remain in 16th. There's all sorts going on around them, but at the end of the day, they're still where they started. What it does mean is that the relegation line moves up towards them, and the teams behind them just wiggle up within range of them. So they are in 16th in the as it stands, but only 6 points off the relegation zone. That is too near for any comfort. A next substitution for Braintree. Shea Cooper is the man coming on, and Marnie Marshall-Miranda is the man coming off. So that feels like a twist rather than a stick for me. Marnie Marshall-Miranda does a bit of everything. You've got Alan Judge in there now, I guess is the make weight, which means you can afford a bit of Shea Cooper, slightly less defensive but more attacking.
I think so, and when I've seen him play before, he's very lively, good touch, looks positive, so it's a good change for me. Like you say, it's a positive change.
Still trading 1-0 of the iron here to Boston. Alan Judge tries to clear up field. Gale comes in on him. Twice his side. He is a big boy, is Gale. and it bounces just in front of us into touch for Ryan Clampin, looking to take a little throw in. Oh, that bounces back and almost hits us. I'm intrigued at all the water bottles down this side of the pitch as well. There's 4 or 5. Is that basically, do the fullbacks leave water bottles there?
Yeah, before the game I saw a few. Well, one of them, I think Green put a water bottle there, and one of our boys put it down there as well. So like you say, it looks like this side.
Tom Blackwell across from the left hand side. That's nowhere near Jermaine Francis. It's cleared out towards this nearby line. If that would have been a beautiful rugby clearance. Drops half an inch over the byline, but it's a throw in then for Braintree Town. Just inside the Boston half, in the shady part of the pitch just in front of us with the sun behind us. Most of it is in the sun though. We're going backwards from the throw into George Langston. Langston looking for a runner. I think he tried to play that onto the head of Akinde. He saw Blackwell coming in on a run behind. Doesn't reach him, but it drops fortuitously still out on this left hand side to Clampin, who now does use Tom Blackwell. Blackwell forced backwards to the halfway line. Braintree keeping possession but not managing to do much with it. Judge with a long ball up to Cooper, who controls that very well on the edge of the area, forced wide. He's got help there though from Blackwell, who puts a long one in onto the keeper, who has to flap it onto the top of the net. That might have dipped in just below the crossbar. Does that count? Let's say it's a shot on target.
Yeah,
no one's going to argue.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. It was.
You think it was going over, don't you?
I think so, but the keeper, he weren't sure, so he had to make sure. But it was good play again. Blackwell trying to get balls into the box, and like you say, put it under the crossbar, and the keeper's dealt with it.
At the quag end to our right, the Boston fans are keeping a drone up just to keep the momentum and excitement going, get the energy in for the last few minutes to hold on. But Iron coming back, Blackwell with the corner, drops to Robinson, who hits it with some venom, well over the top of the goal, the stand, the clubhouse, over the offices behind, over the fence. That's off down Clockhouse Way somewhere, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's one of them where I think it was Alan Judge in the end, at the edge of the box. He had to take it on, but on the volley, sidewinder volley, he just didn't quite get over it, and it was always rising. And like you say, it's still going.
Oh, right foot, it must have been Alan Judge. Yeah, it's about a foot shorter than Matt Robinson, to be fair. But just as big in terms of influence. Braintree 0, Boston 1. We're into the last knockings of this one. Can the Iron get back into it? Long clearance then from the Boston goalkeeper Cameron Gregory, the former Wolves and Birmingham Academy player. It's not cleared from Braintree, and as Louis Annesley leaves it to roll in towards Henry Gray at the edge of the area, he was suddenly under a lot of pressure from Tony Weston. Has to clear it though. Oh, and there's offside at the other end. That's disappointing. But I think that's what it's going to be in his last. It's going to be sitting right on that offside line, isn't it?
Yeah, the Braintree are just going to try and get the ball forward up to Akinde and work off the seconds. That time he was standing offside.
So a long ball to be hit that field. You can see that 3 now with Tony Weston. Marriott is up there, and also James Gould. It's aimed for Gould, just beyond him though, and there is help from Marriott. Marriott has got Tom Blackwell all over him, pushes him back towards just outside of the area, but Gyro picks it up off of them. He's down the byline, he's got a ball into the near side. George Langston with a hook away to Shea Cooper on the byline on this near side. He can't quite keep it in. More frustration as the referee indicates it will be a throw-in for Boston, and the Iron just can't get out. We're into the last few minutes. They need the ball to be down the other end. At the minute, Braintree defending a goal which has a jumping up and down sea of black and yellow. Over 300 Boston fans on there who are loving this. This will very much put them up as being the form team of all in the National League at the moment. They are coming very close to being on the edge of getting out of relegation. They've come from a long way to do it. This will be just 2 defeats out of 10 if they hold on to this. Since mid-January they were down and out, but now, although they've not moved up in terms of places, they are still next to bottom. They are, in the as it stands table, only 2 points away from safety. what a massive comeback since Graham Coughlin has taken over there.
He's made a great difference, hasn't he? He's come in, he's shaking it up, and like you said, they've reacted well and they've gone on a great run. They give themselves a chance, you know. They're still in the relegation zone, but like you say, that margin is ever so narrow now.
And we saw in the first 15 minutes or so here how good they were. Their goal very much deserved. Since then, it's been a bit more holding on. Braintree have really, it's been a draw in boxing points since then, I think, hasn't it?
It has, yeah. You know, Boston, they've got their nose in front and they've sat in really. They've kind of not been as adventurous, but they've been organised. You know, Braintree, yeah, they've put a bit of pressure on and got set plays, but they've not really tested them really.
Oh, it's a chance for Boston now. Is it a 1-on-1? Yes, the man's got round Annesley and it goes just wide of the upright. That was a pinged ball with nothing really aimed for. It somehow got to Tony Weston. Little knock ahead, got in behind Annesley, and suddenly, if he could hold off Annesley, it got a 1-on-1. Did hold him off, but the ball didn't quite bounce right for him. The two touches he had, I think, were both off his shins, and he just couldn't quite get it into a position to really lamp it and place it past Henry Gray. That was a lucky let-off for Braintree.
Yeah, it was. You know, Weston, he's done well. He showed good pace getting behind Annesley and held him off, but like you say, it was bobbling all over the place. It was coming off his shin and it just didn't sit right for him.
Corner's taken short. Boston are in no hurry on this. In towards the edge of the area, and a rolled shot, more of a pass from Tony Weston on this occasion, and it goes well beyond the far upright. But that's two chances in quick succession for the late substitute.
It is again, like you said, that was a good chance for him. It kind of it popped out to him. He's had a touch forward, and then like you say, his finish was more of a rolled finish. It weren't a great finish, to be honest.
That 1-on-1 for Weston, and then there was a chance for Cameron Green inches wide in the first half. I'm thinking in terms of the best chances that didn't result in goals, the two best have also been both Boston's.
I agree with that, yeah. Like you say, they had a good start, got their nose in front, and then they've kind of just, I don't know, sat in and soaked up the pressure, and then they've had a few chances, really, the best chance of the game.
Seconds tick away. In my ear I can hear another goal for Colchester United, by the way. Payne, the scorer in their game against Fleetwood. Oh, it's nothing of a shot from distance at Henry Gray from Andy Marriott. He picks that one up. Yeah, Colchester 3, Fleetwood 0, the latest in that. Braintree fans around us are starting to wander out, but don't go too soon. We're still in this one, only one goal in it. Shea Cooper on the left hand side, he's got Clampin in support. Tight to the byline, plays the little 1-2, Clampin's away, he's got to the edge of the area, bobbled a bit, gets to the byline, and a low cross, tried to cut it back to Cooper. In fact, it was Robinson had got to the edge of the area, didn't quite get round to him. Still possession in Braintree hands though. Blackwell on the left hand side, turns inside onto his right, crips up towards the far post, header on target, and the keeper is behind it. I think it was Matt Robinson in the middle there, managed to sort of, as the ball coming sideways at him, got a sideways flick of the ball, so headed it down as well, just in front of the keeper, did everything right, but the flight of the ball meant he couldn't get any pace on it.
He couldn't get no power on it. If anything as well, it could have fallen for Kindy as well, but yeah, it was one of them where it was a bit unlucky really. It's good to see Robinson get in the box, but yeah, like you said, that the cross, it just meant he couldn't get any power on his header.
You can hear the Boston fans to our right. They are still next to bottom in the division for the 15th week in a row. Sounds awful, but what this means for them is they're only a couple of points off from the relegation line, and they are right back in this battle, having come from nowhere. It has been amazing. More amazing than Braintree, who are also not looking great before Christmas. And in 17th now, they've dropped a place in the as it stands table. You'd hope that they were safe, but only 6 points off the relegation zone now. It's starting to get a little bit nervous again. We're loose in midfield here, and Braintree still can't get that final chance away. George Langston goes route one, looks for John Akinde, cut out though by Mills, and the ball bounces into touch just in front of us. Ryan Clampin says, come on someone, get that ball out the seats. A Braintree fan runs across and does that to him, gives it to him quick, takes the throw in quick to Annesley. Judge back to Clampin on this line. We know that the seconds are ticking away. The fourth official's board is now being readied on that far side. We'll find out how much is left in a minute. I don't think it's going to be much. as Braintree are dispossessed and then repossessed with George Langston. Sliding it down the right hand side to Aidan Francis Clark. 3 minutes there will be of added time. Aidan Francis Clark in the midfield area runs out of room. George Langston is covering. Can he pass it back to keeper Henry Gray? No, he goes wide to the byline instead and turns, but he's always going to clip that into touch. And they just can't get any momentum here. You can't accuse Boston of doing you're up 1-0 away from home, sit on the ball, do subs, hang around by the corner. They're doing none of that whatsoever, and yet Braintree can't get hold of the ball.
No, you're right, but Boston, their tactics have been good. They come out of the traps really quickly first half, got in front, and they've kind of been comfortable. They have, it's not been the best performance from Braintree, but not the worst by any means, but they just can't get that breakthrough.
Still Boston come forward down their left hand side to the corner flag, and actually for the first time they do the sit by the corner flag thing. Doesn't come off. Braintree get a foot in and kick it out towards the edge of their own area. Chance to break possibly here. Ryan Clampin has got some space to run into, but elects to hit it long first time, diagonally left to right, looking for there is a throw in. Looking for Shea Cooper. Goes over his head, but he does win a throw in off the back of it. So George Langston up over the halfway line, shapes for a long one, and then plays it short in towards Cooper. In comes the cross, headed away. It's backed to the wall now for Boston, surely, but only if Braintree can keep hold of it. The press is on. Ryan Clampin on the halfway line, hits it long diagonally over everyone's heads. That's going to go away disappointingly for a goal kick. And more applause from Boston fans to our right. That, in fact, I think is the signal for the fans around us to think that one is it. Beat the rush out the ground. They are jumping and bouncing away on that quag end to our right. It has been quite a story for Boston in January, February, March this year. Still a reasonably good story for Braintree, but with results elsewhere not particularly going their way, it's not the best of days. Can it change in the last few seconds? Just get something out of this. Judge hits it long for Francis on the chase, who tries to turn his man. He wins a free kick. Shapes to take it quickly, but doesn't. That means that everyone is going up. This is surely the last thing. Even Henry Gray has come up to the halfway line. He's looking at the bench, but it's taken quickly. Too quick for him to get up and join in, and cleared it into touch for a throw-in on the halfway line. Henry Gray is making himself available. He's getting the ball back and allowing himself to be there to be used to do this short ball, and then he's going to lump it up. He always slips as he does so. Ball falls towards the edge of the Boston penalty area, and it's one too far. You can hear from the cheer around me that the final whistle has gone. What a result for Boston, and what a run for Boston. For Braintree, they weren't rolled over in the last three quarters of the game, but that first 15 minutes made all the difference. The goal coming on the quarter hour mark from Keeson Ward. And Lee, I'd like to, we're talking about Braintree, it's all about Braintree, but actually today's about Boston.
Yeah, that was a good away performance. Like you said, they were well drilled, high energy. You could tell they wanted it. They got their nose in front, and it was a frustrating afternoon for Braintree. They huffed and puffed, but without any real quality in front of goal or any real clear-cut chances. So it was a bit of a frustrating one for Braintree. But listen, it's how they react now. They've been on a good run, so hopefully they can react well and still stay safe.
Boston are only 8 points behind Braintree now. I know that sounds a lot, but you just think where things were, they're creeping up on the iron. Handshakes all round from both sets of players here. Gateshead away coming up as well. Oh, we're both looking at each other with a bit of a wince on that one.
That's a tough game, isn't it? Even like the travel and the Gateshead, they're having a good season. That's going to be a tough one. But this Braintree team, they do. Sometimes they surprise people. They've got that surprise package about them. So who knows?
It's actually the first game of the 3 o'clock kickoffs to finish in the National League today. The earlier result was Oldham 1, Rochdale 1. Elsewhere, Altrincham 1, Aldershot 2. It's now a full time as I speak. Daggers 1, Tamworth 3 in the last seconds, as is Ebbsfleet 1, Fylde 0. Sutton 0, Halifax 3. Wealdstone did come back in 3-3 against Eastleigh in the 4th minute of added time, so keep your eye on that one. Woking 0, Barnet 1 is also in the 3rd minute of added time, so there may still be some late changes in positions, but it looks like at the minute Braintree are going to be dropping a place to 17th on 42 points, 6 points off the relegation zone, with Boston just 2 points from safety themselves. So full time here at Cressing Road. The fans' phone-ins will continue on BBC Essex on 103.5 and 95.3. Another great win for Colchester today. Meanwhile, for Southend, drawing in the latter stages at Forest Green Rovers. Do ring and email, you find all the details online. But from Lee Barnard, very good thanks to you for this afternoon as well. Enjoyed that one?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, disappointed about the result, but it was a good game. It was a good game.
It is good to see a away set of fans having a great time at any ground other than your own. Oh dear, oh dear. Final score here then at Cressing Road is Braintree 0, Boston United 1. The sun is going down. We're off down the pub. Have a very good evening from all of us. Goodbye.